Hello and welcome. I'm Shann Vander Leek, founder of podcastbath.com, and I love supporting and interviewing heart-centered entrepreneurs about their new offerings. And today it's my pleasure and honor to introduce you to Janis R. Cohen and share a conversation with her about her brand new podcast, The Intuitive Therapist, that will be launching soon on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about Janis. Janis R. Cohen, MSW, LCSW, is internationally known as the Intuitive Therapist. With 26 years as a therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium, Janis helps spiritually conscious people who have experienced a decrease in their self-esteem and who doubt their ability to make sound and effective decisions, learn how to trust themselves completely, make massive changes that last, and create courage, confidence, and certainty in any aspect of their lives. Janis incorporates psychic channeling into her therapy sessions to get to the root of a challenge with laser-like accuracy, a skill set that is unique to her in the therapy world. There's so much more I could tell you about Janis right now, but I'm just going to jump right in so that we can talk to her and learn more about the Intuitive Therapist podcast that will be launching on June 12th. Welcome, Janis.
Hey, Shann, how are you?
I'm fantastic. It's wonderful to be with you today.
Likewise.
I am so thrilled for you that you are bringing forward all of this wisdom and experience in a podcast. I know you've been out speaking and sharing and made yourself available on the stage, but to start this new platform is so exciting.
I know. I cannot wait to share all this information with everybody.
You've been supporting people now for over 26 years. And what inspired you to take all of that wisdom and experience and then bring it into this new container and create this podcast for the Intuitive Therapist?
Well, Shann, my mission on this earth really is to help as many people as I can get out of pain and suffering and cultivate courage, confidence, and certainty in any aspect of their lives, because each of us struggles at some point with that. And I've been given very direct messages over the years from Spirit and my Spirit Guide team to truly step up in this way and serve. And on my path of healing and growth, what was really cool is that I discovered I had these psychic gifts that would allow me to really see things like a laser, the root cause of a problem, the solutions that can resolve it, and get really specific guidance to help people reach resolution. It's kind of like I get the cliff notes on people, and then I get the answer sheet. So that in and of itself takes months and months and months and years and years and years away from traditional therapy. I get to stuff really fast. I get insights, and I really truly wanted to share all of that information in a broader scope. And I get tickled every day being able to do what I do. And to be honest, I have an obsession to help people.
I love it.
But I'm also compelled. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I really, truly just want people to listen and get golden nuggets. And my hope is that maybe one thing that they listen to will help them and help them make big shifts.
Well, and let's take this a little bit further, your experience, because you have some unique experiences that you bring forward in your practice and that you will be sharing certainly through your podcast. Let's talk a little bit more about how you are uniquely experienced to host this podcast.
Well, I'll tell you this. One of the biggest things that I feel like qualifies me is that I've had my own struggles for years and years and years. And it wasn't up until probably my early 40s that I really got how not to struggle. And I knew deep down inside I was supposed to serve bigger. And I had a message, but I didn't know how to access it. And then over time, all of a sudden, when I hit my 40s, my gifts opened up. And I learned that I could see things. I could see images, words, people, places, past lives. I could see somebody's personality, their energy, their feelings. I could feel all that. And that I could also communicate with people who've passed. And in addition to that, I've been a therapist for 26 years. So combined with my own personal growth of overcoming my limitations, and don't get me wrong, I'm still working on some of those things. That doesn't end. But I learned how to change my belief systems, the ones that were faulty, that kept me down and kept me sad. I learned how to shift my focus, where my tunnel vision was only on those things that brought me joy, peace, and contentment. And I just feel compelled to help others learn how to do that too. And the really, really cool thing is that I get to call on the angels, the archangels, the ascended masters, spirits, and spirit guides to help me help people fast. Because I know that people want out of pain fast. Might not be the easiest solution, but they want out of pain fast.
Right.
And if I can help in any way, I tell spirit, use me. I'm good.
You're so very generous. Let's talk about some of the topics that you're going to be sharing with your listeners on your new podcast.
I am beyond excited to talk about these things. And I wanted this podcast, my vision was to be able to talk about serious things in a fun and cool way. Because life is serious, but we don't always have to be so serious with it. So I wanted to talk about a broad list of topics, from intuitive and psychic development to how to cope with change, how to master your mindset, and even how to actually get over betrayal so that it doesn't ever happen again. And believe it or not, I have secrets that I only teach my clients about how to truly get over betrayal.
That's a big one. That is a big one.
It's huge. It's huge for a lot of people because very few people really know how to get rid of that and never experience that again. So I'm looking forward to teaching about that. But the other things is that I get to channel messages from spirit and my guides. I'm going to share stories about readings I've done and clients that I've had and what we've worked on so that the listeners can really gain from what other people have been through. And what's cool is that there's a high likelihood that just from the stories that I tell and the information that I share, the listeners are going to have breakthroughs and they're going to be able to move forward just as quickly as they would if they were sitting in front of me working with me, because that's just how spirit works. I want to teach listeners how to make the most of their relationships, how to uncover their life purpose, how to understand their soul agreements with the people in their lives, like, why did I come into this family, and why am I dating this kind of guy or this kind of girl, and what the heck happened that all my friends are like X, Y, or Z. I don't understand that. So I get to teach people about that and how to use language, how to choose what they focus on, how to use their body to truly change their life. So to me, sharing all those things, and I get to tell stories, that's one of my favorite things, because I think everybody can relate to stories. And so just for starters, that's kind of where I'm starting. I am revved up, I'll tell you
You
that.
are, and you've got such an overflowing well of stories to share and of testimonials, different situations and healings. And I love that you're so generously bringing this forward in the way that you are. When are you going to be launching The Intuitive Therapist? When does this podcast, when is it ready to go?
Well, honey, the kickoff is June 12th.
Right on.
And I could not be more excited. Cannot wait. I'm chomping at the bit here.
Good for you. And also, it would be good to know where our listeners today can be subscribing to your new podcast. Where are you going to be located?
Oh, I'll be on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean. And of course, there'll be links to everything on my website.
Fabulous.
So I hope listeners take the time out of their day to listen and subscribe to the podcast. And, always love ratings and reviews. So
good for you.
Yep.
Good for you. And I do have another question. Are you going to also be sharing content from your popular book in this podcast as well?
Oh, absolutely. There's so much that's poured into that book that I definitely will be. It's called The Intuitive Therapist, and you can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it at Barnes & Noble, or you can go to theintuitivetherapistbook.com. and purchase it there. But definitely going to give insights from the book.
I love that because then if people want to get a copy of the book and then decide to be listening in, they're going to have, this really powerful well of information from you, from what you've pulled together before today and then what you plan on doing in the future with your podcast, which will really give them a good flavor of who you are, what you have to share, and how you can be of service.
Yep.
Well, thanks so much, Janice. I'm glad we took some time today to talk about your brand new podcast, The Intuitive Therapist. You're welcome. The Intuitive Therapist podcast begins on June 12th, and this is where you can join Janis R. Cohen, licensed clinical social worker, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium, as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. She will also share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you to master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. Coming to iTunes and Stitcher soon, you can tune in on June 12th. Give a listen to The Intuitive Therapist. You're going to love this podcast.